Welcome back, everybody. Olivia 9-month update.
Hello.
Man, we've had a busy month.
Yes.
Both Olivia and her changes, and then
Grandma coming.
Grandma or Lola coming back, and we've actually gotten out and about a few times this month. So it's been a pretty busy month. She's pretty much a crawling expert now. No more low crawling, more on all fours.
No more military crawling.
Yeah. Except maybe if she's in her little play area, or what we call her jail, it's like workout flooring, so it's a little bit slick. So if she's in a onesie, if her knees keep slipping out from underneath her, she'll get frustrated and start army crawling then. But other than that, normally she's all on all fours. Another thing that she started doing is she'll actually pull herself up to standing now. So inside her little play yard, it's like plastic walling, but there's cloud cutout shapes. So when she's on all fours, she can reach in there with her hand, and she'll stand herself up and scream for her attention.
All the time.
All the time. So while she is standing up there, she will take a couple steps to the side to assist herself while walking. But she definitely enjoys standing. When she's in there, sometimes she'll just stand up and just stare at the TV or anything else that's going on.
Chew on the gates.
As nothing's changed with that. Still chews on everything. She's still a little beaver, making herself a dam all over the place. So. Something else that she does new is she will look up at noise. So our living room is an open concept up the top. So there's a walkway that goes between one side of the house to the other. And it used to be that if you're up there and you called her name or something, she would just kind of spin around like, where's that noise coming from? But now she'll actually look up at the noise. So it's kind of funny because if she's in her little
yelling fits,
her little jump thing, or we call it her gym, instead of just tilting her head up, a lot of times she'll just lay back like she's lounging to see what's going on up there. So it's definitely kind of funny to watch. Another new thing that she does is she'll dance to music. She doesn't have very many skills, but she will dance. So especially if she's watching Sesame Street and Elmo comes on and sings the Happy Happy Dance, she'll get bopping to that. So some other new developmental things for her. Another thing she just started doing in the past couple days is she'll actually start mouthing songs. So while a song's playing and they're singing, she'll move her mouth like she's singing with them without making any noise, but just moving her mouth like she's singing also. So she might be the next Milli Vanilli star, who knows?
Oh, heck.
So she definitely understands that there's something going on when people are singing. So still a lot of vocabulary growth, not forming any words, but definitely making new sounds and new pitches and tones with her screeches.
You can tell when she's eating, when you're far away and somebody else is feeding her, she's always like nom nom nom. She does the nom noms. Nobody taught her that.
Yeah, she'll you can definitely tell when she's eating something. I'll be in the other room and I'll hear it, and I'll be like, what are you feeding her? Just because you can hear that she definitely relates it to eating, if it's something that she likes.
Which is everything.
Yeah, which is everything.
Nom nom nom.
Another thing that she'll do is she'll actually sing herself lullabies when she's tired. It's one of the ways that we know that she's tired, because it'll get really high but very soft. She'll be like, so
like that, right?
Yeah. So when we hear that, we know that somebody's getting ready to go to bed.
Yep.
So another thing that she does new is she will reach if she wants to be picked up. So she definitely understands that communication piece, that lifting her arms up means that she wants you to pick her up. Before then, if you'd walk over to her, she'd just get very still, like, okay, I'm ready. But now she'll actually reach up in the air to be picked up. definitely helps you know that there is some cognitive stuff going on, like cause and effect, and understanding to do one thing to get something. Last but not least, still always on the teething battle. Kid still just has 2 teeth in there.
She has all the symptoms of teething.
Right. They are getting a little bit longer, but every few days or so she'll go through teething symptoms, and then nothing will happen. So I can usually see when it's coming, because there'll be a day that her cheeks are like super red and flush, almost purple, but no temperature or anything. Her cheeks will actually be kind of cold. And then usually within a day or so she has a temperature. So we just had the worst bout that we've had so far with her with teething, and it was 4 days of a temperature, like constant temperature. It would go between, like, on the low side it would be high 99s, but on average it was like a little over 101, and that was for 4 days straight. Not irritable.
Still ate.
Yeah, still ate. No diarrhea, no anything, just a fever. Wasn't lethargic.
Very fussy.
Was still having a good amount of wet diapers. It was just nothing but just a temperature. So around like the second day of the temperature, and mind you, we were giving her Tylenol, and it wasn't necessarily working all the time. So we were starting to get concerned that we were giving her too much Tylenol. And then, so we'd give her a cool bath or sponge her down, and that would cool her down for like 10-15 minutes, and then right back at it again. And I mean, like we've said, she always runs warm, like when you're holding her against your skin or something. If you're like cradling her, within like 5 minutes your arm's going to start sweating. But this was a straight out temperature. So after day 2 of the temperature, and just to touch on that, like, you'll read a lot of places where they'll tell you like a teething temperature is a falsity.
It's a myth.
Like, a teething temperature is 99 degrees. Like, they say it'll only raise the temperature by about 1 degree. So you read those kind of things, and now we're on day 2 of well past that, with no other symptoms. So we sent an email to the pediatrician to say, hey, at what point in time do we need to be concerned? Because we're rolling on to day 3 of a temperature. At what point in time should we bring her in? Because you guys heard before, we took her to the ER for a temperature before, and nothing really came out of it. So I really didn't want to bring her to the ER because of the fact that she still had wet diapers. She wasn't dehydrating, so I didn't have a concern there. So she had that elevated temperature, but wasn't drooling any more than normal. She always chews on everything, so we can never use that as an indicator of whether or not she's teething. So of course we started getting concerned that maybe something else was going on. We tried Motrin at around 1 in the morning, and then at 8 o'clock when her pediatrician opened, I called, and they were able to thankfully see us at 10. So we went to the doctors. Now this is 9 hours after her last dose of medicine. Her temp was 97.9 or something like that, so no temperature, still no other signs of anything going on. So doc gave her a quick look over, eyes, ears, nose, throat, that kind of thing. Didn't see anything. So I asked the pediatrician, hey, at what point in time is it cause for concern having a constant temperature? And she said 5 days. After 5 days of a fever with no other symptoms, that's when they would do like blood work tests to make sure nothing else is going on. Again, that's our pediatrician. not your pediatrician, so please have that conversation with your pediatrician. We are not doctors. I'll say it every time that I say anything medical, but that's just the advice that our pediatrician gave us. She's also starting to cry when she doesn't get her way. So, you know, she used to just like grunt or screech or growl when she was upset about something, but now she'll like physically start crying. Yeah, she'll put her head down, start pouting, and then like legit tears, alligator tear crying.
So cute.
So
I nearly fall for it every time.
So yeah, it used to be that she only expressed being upset by clenching her fists and
screaming,
grunting or screaming, but now she'll like, now the waterworks have began. Now she's going for her Emmys.
Don't let her catch you taking her toys, because one time I was in her playpen and, you know, just getting all of her toys so I can clean them up, and she saw me walking away, armful of toys, and she just started crying. So now, you know, I have to be a little bit more sneaky doing that.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting watching the emotional changes that she goes through. So at her daycare provider, there is now another baby that is her age, or infant, I should say, whatever you term this age group. I think she's probably like a week older.
A week older, yeah.
So she's a week older than her, but obviously that means that her provider has to split her attention between two infants that are that age, and you can see that she doesn't like that at all. She does not like that she is no longer the sole center of attention. Yeah, she'll take toys from the other baby, and
take food away from the baby.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating for me as a parent, because it's like she's too young to understand like the, you know, no, share. I mean, of course we say it, but it's just to start building the basis of it. But so another thing she's starting to do is laugh on her own more, like us not inducing laughter for her, but like she'll see something. I mean, obviously laughter is always induced, but it's not like us touching her or tickling her or anything like that. She'll just see something that she finds funny and will laugh, not just smile, but laugh.
The dog.
Yeah, like a week ago, the dog likes to play with the cats, and we call it tap dancing. And she saw that and was just cracking up, like just having a blast with it. So definitely understanding laughter at this point in time, without being physically touched to create it. She'll also smile a lot more when watching like Sesame Street and her favorite characters come on. I'm pretty sure she has a crush on Michael Bublé already, because the world stops when he comes on to sing on Sesame Street, so it's already started. So the other thing that's been going on is, and I'm not sure if it's because of the temperature that she had. When she had the temperature, she was obviously very clingy, but she's just not a big fan of her crib right now. She definitely won't go. She definitely doesn't like going in there for naps. And then at night, it's like she'll stay in there for a few hours, and like we've said, she usually sleeps like 12 hours straight. But now it's like after a couple hours,
she'll like wake up at 10 o'clock, crying, just,
and not whining, like
really
straight out, like
crying.
Somebody went in the crib and punched her in the face.
Right. And then it takes a while for her to calm down, because back in the day, it's just, you put a pacifier on her, she'll go back to sleep. Now it's like you have to hold her, or it's just I don't know, has progressed.
Yeah, and it used to be, on that same note, like if you were feeding her and she went to bed while you were feeding her, you would put her in the crib, she'd roll over and be knocked right out. And now it's like you got to put her in the bed and then rub her hair, And when she's done with you rubbing her hair, you got to keep your hand on her bottom,
Right.
so she feels the weight of your hand. She just, I don't know, I would say what, this past week?
Yeah, just this last week, and it happens a couple of times middle of the night. We barely get sleep now, I guess. So I'm extra tired.
So hopefully it's just a phase. Only thing we can do is just keep doing what we do, and hopefully she works through it. Some of the difficulties with her falling asleep right away is, you know, like we said, she pulls herself up. So because of that, I had to lower the crib, because obviously, with the way it was, if she was standing up, the crib rail would probably be at like belly button height. So obviously didn't want her falling out of the top of the crib while she was, if she was awake. So by lowering the crib and then having to lower her so far down into the crib, that wakes her up a little bit, you know, that fear of falling, I guess. Then of course, then it's more difficult on Izzy, because it's hard to reach the baby when she's laying down flat. But it's that something's got to give, you know. Either it's more difficult to put her in there, or you're dealing with the possibility that she falls out of the crib. And I think I'll deal with the difficulty of putting her in there versus her falling out of the crib. And she loves to do, and it helps with the teething and everything else, is she loves eating cold carrots. So I keep just the baby petite carrots in the fridge, and let her gnaw on that, and it helps her gums, and it's something other than junk food to be chewing on. And I finally worked over my fear of the Gerber puffs. So she loves those things. She eats them just fine.
Demands.
She goes through the chewing motions. She just doesn't have any teeth to chew with. But she will. You do see, like, the first couple chews, she will work them to the front of her mouth where her two teeth are. It's like she already understands the purpose of the teeth. And always, like a lady, she'll put her hand over her mouth while she's chewing on them. Izzy says it's because she's a lady. I say it's because she's afraid of the food falling out of her mouth and her missing out on it. So, but yeah, she does great with the puffs. We'll cut up bananas into small pieces. Somebody's awake.
No.
We'll cut up the bananas into small pieces. She'll eat on those. Strawberries, and then of course, you know, I think we've mentioned it before. We've got the pacifier with the holes in it
It's called the Haka.
that we shove the fruit into. Pretty nasty after it's been used, but pretty convenient to give her stuff and not have to worry about her choking on it. And then, like I said, we've done a lot of things this past month. So we took her to the aquarium. She had a great time there. Not because she told us, but because you could just see she was interacting with the fish, looking at them while they were swimming by, touching the glass. Yeah.
Jellyfish.
So
Like right now, we're on the way to the zoo to see how she is gonna be reacting.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if she enjoys that also. And then we went camping. Took her camping. We just did a day, just because it's still kind of chilly, and plus, of course, you know, work schedules. But she did great at camping. She really liked sitting by the fire.
She really roughed it.
Yeah, it was funny because she would be sitting in her bumbo by the fire, looking at a tablet, and she just had this look on her face like, oh man, I'm roughing it. So pretty interesting, but we had a good time. So that's it for 9 months, and we'll update you at the 10-month mark.